everyone, Joanne Carey. Welcome to Easy Photoshop Magic, helping you make your experience with Photoshop efficient and lots of fun. So let's head over to Photoshop. And what I want to cover today is a simple exercise in adding texture to a photograph. So I have chosen this lovely ocean, sky and beach scene. This is an image that I purchased from the website called Shutterstock.com. The first thing that I'm going to do is duplicate this layer. I clicked on the layer, chose duplicate, OK, and now you see that I have two of the same images, but I really only want one of them to be active. So I keep my background layer intact at the bottom of the layer stack, and I'm just going to work with this layer called background copy. Now when I look at this, I think it's peaceful and serene, but I really like adding dimension to images, and I can do that with textures, with styles, with gradients. So my first glance at this, I'm thinking, well, maybe we can do something here with this sort of flat area that the water is tiptoeing against. So I'm going to use the quick selection tool here to select that area, and that will allow me to add something to it. So let's begin the exercise with this brush. It's a rather large size, well, medium, 70 pixels in diameter, and it's going to be, let's say, not so hard edged because we want to pick up the pieces of foam with a little bit of feathering around the edges. And don't concern yourself with this part of the menu unless you're working with a tablet. Alright, so you can see I'm moving my mouse around, which essentially moves the cursor or the selection tool. And I'm simply going to left click on my mouse to begin the selection. Let's do it here in the corner, and I'm clicking, unclicking, or I could simply scroll across the bottom of the page so that I have the selection that's almost it's so easy. It really is great. Photoshop finds the edges, and then you can refine them in the Refine Edge panel. So it masks or is making this whole area of the image black, or we could even choose, let's say, white. But black gives us some definition, so that what I want to do is show you how we can feather. So watch the edges along here. I'm going to just feather them a little bit so they're not so crisp, which makes sense. And I'm going to output to the selection, not a new layer, and I'll show you why. I'll click OK, and now on this selected area I can do some fun things. The first thing is down in the bottom of the layers panel menu, I'm going to select the third from the top. This is Photoshop 6, and it may be a different order from your version, but you will find pattern, and when you do, click it. Now immediately I see that Photoshop has added a pattern fill. Let me bring this over here in the middle. It for some reason is set to this wooden type flooring, which may or may not make sense. Let's move this out of the way so we can see it better. And of course you wouldn't expect necessarily to see a wooden flooring unless it's a type of boardwalk, but the important thing is you can do almost anything with the pattern fills, and depending on the type of pattern. So here's one that looks a little bit more like a boardwalk. Here's one, and just by sliding the scale percentage wise, I'm creating different effects that may or may not look realistic. Again, this is very subjective. It depends on what you're looking for in your image, but sometimes it's just fun to play. So for example, I might want to put some, let's say, these purple flowers. And it's not very realistic, but you get the idea. But let's look at something that may be a little bit more realistic. For example, okay, let's try grass. So perhaps we do have grass there, but that's a little bit out of scale. So let's come up here and move the sliders in such a way that we achieve a nice, maybe grass threshold leading up to the the edge of the foamy water. And again, that may not be too realistic, but you get the idea. It's as simple as that. And again, if I turn this off, we're back to the nice beach. And here is some grass that we just added. So essentially, that is the exercise in pattern fill. Have fun with it and play and do whatever suits your imagination and make it magic. Thanks for watching.